Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday morning marketing show with Ruthie Rocks Ruth Allbrand, and I am Marketing Max. This is episode number 180, according to Ruth. I can't believe we're knocking on that door, that 200 show here. And today we have a different type of guest. His name is Greg Forbes, and he's the co-founder and the research and development, or actually the regional vice president for a company called Research and Development Group. Where are you based out of, just really quickly here?
Right here in Las Vegas.
Right here in Las Vegas. Okay. He's going to talk about how to utilize some of the research and development tax credits around with the IRS code. I know, a little dry. Hang in there, everybody. But it's going to get interesting, and this may be another item that you can put in your toolbox here to differentiate yourself professionally in the crowd here among your fellow agents. But before we get to Greg, Ruth, what is happening in Las Vegas this week?
I'm so excited because I think that we're seeing the end of the pandemic damage to the real estate market. And it's been not damage in prices or value, it's been damage in transactions.
Sure.
So we've got about 7,965 available homes, and we creeped up over that 8,000 mark for one day, and then we went back down because people are buying real estate.
Right.
So we've had 143 closings yesterday, which is awesome. We put 92 new sales under contract, and we listed 162 homes. So people are buying real estate, they're selling real estate. We're plunging through this pandemic guidelines, and everybody's being so cooperative with the gloves and anything that the homeowner or the buyers want to do, we do, and it's working out. And people are just anxious to see homes. And the biggest news is that the market is coming back. We see across the nation numbers like ours, where the worst month was May, and May was the worst month because in March, the middle of March, we were hit with fear. And when people have fear, they don't act. So once the fear started being subsided by people stepping up to the plate and telling us what was going on currently, and then what was going to go on in the future, and how we were going to handle this, the more facts people got, then the more they were prepared to take action. So the result is that May is, in my opinion, going to be the worst month. Because people didn't do anything in March. They did very little in April. And so the impact is the sales in May. So just to look at those numbers, year to date, we've done 14,014 sales. Last year to date, we had done 15,404 sales. Now, last year, the average price was $320,000. This year, we have held steady at $335,000 average price. So when you look at it year over year, we're only down 9.3%. And the majority of it, when you look at the month right below, 2020 month to date, we've sold 1,969 homes. Last year at this time, we had sold 3,460 homes. So you can see that we are down 1,491 homes from last year. So that's, 44, we're down 43%. However, when you look at the numbers, we have continued to do closings, put people under contract, and list homes. So we're looking for the trend to go upward in June. I'm sure it will, because just of all the activity. John sold a home this week. He listed a home this week. I mean, wow. things are really happening because people are anxious to move forward, and everybody's kind of tired of this. And it's just good that now Nevada has come out with a chart so that we know what's open, what's closed. And that's really helping the state of mind of the buyers and sellers. But I'm here to tell you across the nation that everybody's trending up.
Yeah,
so that's the really good news. And we're going to see June will probably, the numbers will probably start to be much, much better. And in July and August, we'll be back to normal.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
you know what I say? Get ready to do 9 months worth of work in 6 months.
exactly right. Yeah, and the next few months are going to be very key in telling what
Yeah.
the trend's going to be. And but if my wife and I actually went out yesterday to downtown Summerlin to eat, and if that was an indication of what's to come, I can tell you people are out and about. The restaurant we were at was filled to their 50% capacity with people waiting outside to get seated. So if that's
Yeah.
any indication of the resiliency of the human spirit here to come back, eventually life does move on,
It does.
and we'll see. The next few months are going to be key, but that's very, very promising news that the trend, we're not down. I mean, considering that we were in a worldwide lockdown, being down roughly about 14% or so in sales is not that big of a deal.
No.
And key is prices are holding up, which is
Right.
very positive.
Well,
So,
that's very positive. Absolutely. We had a late eye doctor appointment last night, and we got out about 6:30. We drove past the Sienna restaurant on Sahara. There wasn't even a parking place.
mhm.
So I don't know how they were practicing social
Well,
distancing, but we just went home
interesting.
and I made some pasta.
Right. Fantastic.
The average person has gained 6.5 pounds during the past 2.5 months.
All right. Yeah. Probably me included, especially with the gym being locked down here. So, but, well, fantastic. Anything else before we get into our special guest today?
No, I'm just excited and looking forward to reporting the future stats, and we can get on with the show.
Yep.
And Max, just so you know, I had been doing my daily lives on my personal page, and had quite a few people participating and commenting. This morning we're doing it on the Agent Formula business page instead of my personal page, so people probably don't know where I am, but
Right.
I'm going to boost. But it'll be much easier for me to boost it out there
Right.
than
In the previous shows.
well, I have to jump through hoops to get it over, download it, upload it, do all that stuff for Facebook's guidelines. So anyway, we'll just go on with the show, and I guarantee you 20,000 people will be shown this in the next several days.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, Greg, appreciate you coming on today. And I always like to ask our first guest is, are you a Las Vegas native, or did you transplant here from somebody else, like, 50% of this city?
Yeah, I'm in that 50% that we moved here from San Francisco, but kind of lived all around the country. Lived in New Orleans, lived in Seattle, and lived at the beach in Florida. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
now I'm in Vegas.
How long now in Vegas?
16 years.
Oh, okay. So, I mean,
I
it's a
know
while now.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been here since the town's kind of grown and exploded through the years here.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what Reach and Development Group does here, and if you can help us tie it to how real estate agents or anything in the real estate market is tied to the benefits of what your company does and how to take advantage of this IRS code.
Sure. So research and development tax credits have been around 39 years since 1981. And but really just started to get big momentum at the beginning of 2016. There was a thing called the PATH Act that passed, and so it made it permanent on the tax code. It expanded it greatly to a wide variety of businesses. So there are a lot of businesses out there today that have no idea. I would tell you that, I mean, we talk with, not often, but we have spoken with billion-dollar companies and all the way down to a one-person dentist and everybody in between. And the common factor is that they've not heard of this. They don't know it exists. They don't know it's available. And but the good news is, if there's any good news out of the COVID, is that some people had to sit down for a minute
and actually read some stuff.
Yeah. Take a break from their job, and they're like, "Hey, what is this?" And so, the reason it was put in place, it was to foster innovation and global competitiveness. Today, with all the technology, there are a lot of companies out there today that are stealth software companies, like staffing companies or companies of all different types that use software. And if you've innovated a software or if you have greatly modified the software, research and development tax credits may be something that you qualify for.
Okay, so I mean, how would a company even identify if they even qualify?
Well, typically what we do, the way we outreach is generally through referral partners. So it's people that we know that we've met who understand what R&D tax credits are, and they're reaching out into their network to identify likely candidates for this. Probably 75–80% of the businesses we talk to qualify. And,
really? Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people really qualify, and it's in the definition. Research and development in the definition of the IRS is very broad. People typically think of lab coats and beakers and science, and there are 4 pillars of it, which can get pretty technical. But basically, if you're innovating in the product or product that you make, if it's rooted in science, so that's why a lot of engineering, manufacturing, software, medical, all heavily qualify. But businesses in general, such as a real estate company, not so much a brokerage, but a company that's, they've set in place processes and they're constantly improving on those processes, they can qualify. Mortgage companies.
Yeah, if I can interrupt for just a second, Greg, the way that I found out about this, it was in 1983, and I had my company Microtrain, which was the first authorized training center for Microsoft back then, and we developed training programs for major Fortune 500 companies. And one of them, in December of that year, we got a check in the mail for $350,000. And fortunately, my CPA was downstairs, and I went down there and I said, Dawn, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm going to have to pay taxes on this. And they were very knowledgeable about this IRS code. It had just come out in 1981. And they said, Ruth, you qualify for tax credits. And I was a profitable company. And they said, so we will do some research on your taxes. And I ended up not paying a penny on that $350,000 or for any other profits, because I was a software development company and a training development company, and it qualified. And so when I met Greg, well, I've known Greg for a couple of years, but when Greg came upon this and told me about it, I was all in. I said, I was a benefactor of this program, so I really believe in it. I know it's true. And I think that, that has been perhaps one of the hurdles, and that's why we're having this show, is people don't really understand that they qualify. And you were about to tell us that mortgage companies qualify. So sorry to interrupt you, but I had to pipe in there.
Well, yeah, that's correct. Mortgage companies, and not so much like a brokerage or a loan officer, but actually some of the biggest companies out there, and they don't realize that they qualify, and most of them haven't heard about it. So it's a little process to go through. But just to give an example of what's available, so we do a lot of business with dentists, and an individual dentist, because of the fact that we can look back 3 years beyond the current year, often get 6 figures and more for one dentist. So it's very impactful.
They go back 3 years. Is it you said they go back 3 years?
Right. We do the current year, which right now would be 19, and then we can go back 16, 17, and 18. So the reverse side of that is, had they known about this, they wouldn't have overpaid. And that leads to another point. So a lot of people are very, tied to their CPAs, tax professionals. We only do the R&D tax credits. We work cooperatively with people's businesses, CPAs. And often that's where we get a lot of clients from, once CPAs fully understand what's available out there for their clients.
Yeah, I asked my CPA because we have the training company, and I'm launching this new business that is all development and software. And they're the number 2 CPA firm in the United States. Here in Vegas, they have an office, and they said that they don't. The partner made a call to someone who would have been the obvious partner, and the partner said, "No, we don't get into that. That's a whole nother line of income tax research and development, as you know." So, yeah, many CPAs do not get into it. Their whole company would have to be devoted to it.
Well, that's it. It's 500 pages of the tax code out of 9,000 pages. So it's sort of a niche area.
It's a big chunk.
Well, it is still a lot, but yeah, it's sort of like the difference between a brain surgeon and a general practitioner. It's like
right.
They have different skill sets.
Right. So what's the process like? I mean, if someone thinks that they qualify for this tax credit, they engage someone like you, and then what's that process like, going through the process, and how long does it take, and from the time they engage you until potentially the time they actually get a credit? Does it come in a form of a check that comes back, or is it something that they write off on their taxes based on their revenues, or how's that all work?
Well, it's kind of both. So this is really the essence of it, is the process and putting a number on it. So with any business, typically with us, the way it works is a referral partner will bring somebody to us in a variety of different ways, but usually we have an exploratory meeting which lasts about 30 minutes, and obviously today they're all on the phone or generally on Zoom. Do a lot of Zoom meetings all day long, and so really what that's about is just to find out a little bit about what they do. Typically we know coming in that they're going to qualify. Sometimes it's something we haven't done, but the great news is we're partnered with the largest research and development company internationally. They have a huge team of forensic CPAs, all types of engineers, tax attorneys. So they're available to evaluate. So once we have an exploratory meeting and we all agree that this is a good thing and it looks like they're going to qualify, we schedule a meeting with the technical team. And so in that meeting, which again is usually 30, 45 minutes, they're going to drill down a little bit more and identify the things they do that qualify for R&D. One of the biggest components of it is is labor involved, so it's going to be salaries. And at the end of it all, the federal credit is 10%. So usually during that second meeting, they're going to identify a rough number, and then they come back in a couple of weeks with a technical analysis. All of this process is free. There's no obligation. There's no cost to find out.
I was going to ask you about that because I read that. I was like, wait a minute here. They're going in, doing everything for free, and they don't get paid unless the tax credit gets paid out.
Well, that's right. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. These are, highly paid professionals. Our partner likes to brag that, they're all PhDs, CPAs, attorneys, whatever they are. And they put a lot of time and effort into it, and we only get paid if there's a recovery. So the discovery process, what we're getting a lot of feedback on is that business owners feel like they get new insights on their business, and they learn a lot more about what they do because they've never looked at it through the lens of research and development. So they, previous to talking to us, they just say, it's just what we do. And then after our conversations, it's like, wow, I didn't know this. And it's a strategy going forward too. So they can do this every year for however long they're in business. So they'll minimize the taxes paid.
And Max, the qualifying process is similar to getting pre-qualified for a loan. These experts know pretty quickly whether or not you qualify or not. Sure. It's not like a forensic search on the front end. once you qualify, then they do the forensics on the back end, but they only do that because they know you qualify.
Right.
Well, there's a good percentage qualify. I'm sure they've got some that end up not, but it's an amazing process.
Yeah. Well, if you're offering products for free and don't get paid until there's a payout or a reception of the tax credits, I mean, I'm sure the vetting process is pretty thorough and you easily identify. So that's interesting, though. I mean, so tell us a little bit more about the different businesses. You talked about dentists. What are some of the other kind of businesses that you've identified here in the Valley that have, been successful in working with you?
Wasn't there a tire service locally?
Actually, that's a big national tire company that we're meeting with right now. It's a little bit intricate because I think they have 5 manufacturing plants, and they're one of the. I don't know if they're the only one, but they are a tire company that makes those ginormous tires for the mining industry, where the tires are like as tall as your house. I'm sure they're not that expensive, but yeah. So that a lot of medical architects. Who else? We've done locally big roofing companies.
Cosmetic surgeons, they qualify.
Absolutely. Just about all medical qualifies because the fact it's rooted in science, technology, process of experimentation. Each patient is different, and they always have a slightly different outcome, although hopefully a good one. But medical of all types generally qualifies, unless it's just routine, taking temperatures and taking your vital stats and stuff. But surgeons for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fantastic.
So many different types of businesses. I mean, it's mortgage companies. There are a lot of R&D companies out there that just haven't looked, and that's one of the things that we do. We will probe. We will have the meeting. We always want to have the conversation to find out if you qualify or not. And what I find interesting in the few cases where people don't, they're thankful for having gone through the process, and they understand why they don't qualify. But that is only a few.
Got it.
And Max, the forensic company that does this, I think that they have something like on your brochure, 18,000 clients that they've serviced, and that's what they do. They have 1,500 employees. They're very reputable, and it's my point is that they have enough. You're not going to stand in line and wait. I think that's the thing. And then when the way they get paid, I think that's where I was headed. The way they get paid is they get a percentage of what they save the taxpayer.
Yeah, I didn't finish with before with that process. So once we do those 2 meetings and they get the analysis back, once they agree to move forward, which it's usually always 6 figures. I think our average recovery is about $200,000.
Oh, wow.
And, for larger companies like that tire manufacturer, I mean, they're going to be into the millions of dollars to get back. But for the current year, it is a credit that goes dollar for dollar against your taxes. And then the 3-year look back is an actual check from the IRS. And that takes typically about 60 days to get that check back.
Wow. That's not bad at all.
No,
it's really not. I mean, it's the whole process from beginning to end can be about 90 days.
Oh, wow.
Starting from the position where people don't even know what it is, 90 days later, having a 6-figure amount is pretty intriguing.
Yeah, that is intriguing. So, I mean, for all the real estate agents working with doctors, dentists, and medical people right here, I can tell you, here's a way to increase your commissions and actually win the business with some of these people, because if they're not taking advantage of some of these tax credits, I mean, can you imagine your borrower or your buyer getting an extra $100,000 that they found from nowhere? right? They wouldn't have otherwise had. And instead of buying a $700,000 house, now they can buy a $900,000 house. Let's all do the math there. And just having this little bit of knowledge, bringing it up to your clients, one, elevates you as a different type of professional for them, but also gets possibly a bigger bottom line for you on a commission level. So, I mean, this is the reason why we have Greg on, and we're trying this new series with some other people outside of the real estate industry, but all tied to how you can benefit by knowing this knowledge. So interesting stuff.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, yeah, with real estate, that most of our referral partners are business people who see this as an opportunity to help their network and, to differentiate themselves. And especially in real estate, it's like, how many agents are there just in Clark County? I think 18,000. It's like,
Ruth knows that number.
I know that number.
How many agents, Ruth?
18,065.
There you go. But it's like, yeah, to bring something of value that's totally not real estate to somebody that could benefit, it's like great. And yes, it does generate, maybe a down payment for an investment property. Who knows?
Or someone who doesn't even have that money available, and they're like, "Wait a minute, hey, I just found $100,000. Maybe I can look for a house right now." So, I mean, it
can make a huge difference, no doubt.
No, interesting stuff. So, I mean, any other things that you tell people to look for, and so they don't waste your time, right? If I'm a business owner right now in industry, how do I even give us like 1 or 2, 3 things that like would spark possibly me identifying an opportunity to talk with you so that we don't waste your time?
Okay, sure. So with any individual, they're going to have a dentist, a doctor, somebody like that. Businesses that they know, it might be a relative or a neighbor, but just to say, hey, did you know? And that's the question we always ask first. What is your R&D tax strategy? The answer is 99.9% of the time. What is that?
Yeah.
Which is a great place to start, because if they want to have the conversation, which often people do, they're intrigued. What is this thing? How does it work? And but yeah, so for any, I would say for any business out there, any real estate agent, any mortgage loan officer, if you're trying to add value to your clients, if you think, the technical qualifications for this, if you have one W-2 employee, if you paid $1 in tax, you qualify.
Okay.
So the threshold is pretty low.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
But even small businesses, 5 people, 4 people, can get a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a gal who has a training business, and she's actually been on the show, and she's been developing training for years, and so she's just now getting back into the office, and we're going to have a meeting with her. She's really excited about it because she's been paying taxes forever, and she knows that there's a possibility with all that I've shared with her that she's going to get some money back. And right now, people would love to have some money back,
Right.
Even to put into her business,
Absolutely.
Which is going to be hit because she travels around the country. So she knows, and she does a big conference in October. And so she knows that may not come to fruition, and that's her biggest income for the year. So this is something that can really help so many people. And if you're interested, Greg and I have worked out a referral plan. And so if you want, if you want more details about that, and not only can it help your clients, but if we can help clients, then it can put a few bucks in your pocket too. Because I mean, that's just the way of the world, right? Referrals.
Right. Are you talking about what's her name? DeBurge?
Yes. Yeah. Joan Burge.
Joan Burge. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, in today's environment of extreme uncertainty, we were talking to a dentist yesterday with a huge practice, and his estimation is that if you're doing everything right, you're only going to be able to get back to about 80% of what you were doing. And I think that happens with so many businesses right now. They're telling you can only have half. So anything you can do right now to add capital to your business has to be a good thing.
No, absolutely. And people are looking for it, right? So this is a kind of a timely topic that you can bring up that it, like, maybe gets you into the door. That person that you've been trying to court for a long time for the business.
Yeah. That's right. Money you didn't know about is available. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
I know I'm excited about it, and I can reach out to so many people that we've serviced over the years, and people that I've been doing business with in my social media world. And when you just sit down and make a short list of people, you'll be amazed. Like, dentists, cosmetic surgeons, different people that develop different things. So.
No, fantastic.
Well, and I'll provide you extensive list. I think right now we've identified 50 different industries that qualify, and we're really about having the conversation. That's the big thing. Just have the conversation and see if you qualify, and it becomes apparent pretty quickly. And if you do, it's a quick process, and it's pretty exciting. You saw how fast all the government for businesses. So it is, I think right now about $15 billion a year goes out through the R&D tax credits program, and 40 states, Nevada is not one of them. 40 states have their own R&D tax credit programs. California is huge. It's bigger than the federal program.
Oh, wow. Okay. That doesn't surprise me with all the tech companies that are there.
Right.
Well, fantastic. Greg, any last words? I know Ruth just put the contact. Is that your contact information, Ruth, that you just put up it for? So, give Greg a call here at 702-496. Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm the referral connection.
Got it. So go through Ruth here, and you can get a hold of Greg, and then you want to put his website. Yeah.
Then we do a call. Yeah.
You got it.
I'm gonna post the brochures in the group, which is Ruthie Rocks. So go to the Facebook group, Ruthie Rocks, and the information will be posted there today. So we're also working on a video to help send to people, and also a testimonial video, which really helps to get your foot in the door with some people that you may know. So we all love testimonials.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you're one of them, right? You utilize, I know. You use like the R&D tax credit, so for agent formula. So perfect. Now, Greg, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
When's the next classes, Ruth?
I'm just putting something here. We just came up with a new class, and I want to put this up here. It's an ethics class. We're doing really well with our CE classes. Right now we have excuse me, we have 3 core CE classes every month, and we just added number 4. So this will be in June, on June 18th. We're going to have the first cybersecurity class, 3 CE credits in ethics. And if you take the class, then you are on your way to get a cybersecurity designation. So my friend Jack Lindbergh is working on getting the designation with the commission, and the commission is really jazzed about this because there is so much cybersecurity issues out there with wire fraud and all types of things that people have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because they weren't aware. And you learn things like, if your password is something that you can remember, it's not a good password. And if it's not 18 letters, it's not a good password. So there you go. I mean, these criminals, they spent their time doing constructive things, but they're not. They're, like John says, they're criminals because they get away with this stuff, and they don't have to pay taxes on that money.
Right. And they're getting better and better every day. I can tell you the phishing type of texts that I get now, and the emails are very sophisticated right now. Do not click on anything, any links on anything on your phone.
That's bad for us. I mean, that's the problem. That's not good. I was also going to say, I want to say one more thing here. If you go to agentformula.com/sign up, You can sign up for the agent formula right now, and there is a special price because of the I think it runs through June 30th. It's $39 just to sign up, and then $69 a month. But also, if you go to b.vegas, let me post that. You're going to see b.vegas. You're going to see all the classes that we have, because like I'm saying, we have ethics, we have law, we have the contracts class, and these are all core classes. So now we're adding a second ethics class. So every month we're doing this, and the Zoom meetings are still approved by the division. So that's a wonderful thing. We're getting 50, 60, 70 people taking our classes on Zoom. So yeah, everything's good.
Yeah. Time to get educated and time to get to work.
Yes.
It's coming, everybody.
The word is now. No other way.
Exactly right. So,
well, thank you, Greg, so much for joining us. And I know we'll have, hopefully we'll be knocking your door down with Zoom meetings and people saving tax dollars and getting checks and referrals being paid. I think it's just a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah. It's a great opportunity, and we just love to have those conversations, see who we can help.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a great week. Yes.
See everyone down at the Strip next weekend as we open up. So I'll be down there checking out the festivities.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.